So I finally found the cause of my high idle speed. The idle speed was high because of my scan tool. As you know, in previous videos I've been talking about 1100 RPM and higher, high idle speeds, and I've been trying to track down the cause. Well, in this video I'm going to show you the cause. And every time I take the car out, the tool is there so I can monitor the engine. What I didn't know is that in these early ECMs there is a mode that in order for the ECM to communicate with the tool, there's a 10K resistance that gets put across the cable, and when the ECM sees that, it goes into a service mode and it knows to send data out to the tool. But for some reason in that programming, when it sends data to the tool, when it sees this mode, it elevates the idle speed several hundred RPM up to around 1050, 1100. It advances the timing considerably. So with the idle speed in neutral high and the timing advanced, that's why I'm getting misfire, and what you'll see is what the effect is with the tool on and the tool off. I've been working on this car to get the idle to settle down, and I've been through the whole engine, vacuum leak checks, new IROC valve, been chasing a lot of different things, and you can see here on the tach it's showing a little under 1000 RPM, fully warmed up. Looks like the tach's maybe a touch low, but it wants to run around 1000 to 1100, and it tends to misfire and run rough. And I've been trying to chase this down now for several weeks, and I finally came to an understanding of what the problem is. And if you listen here, we're at about 1100 and you can hear it misfiring. Now you'll hear it settle down and drop down to what we would consider a normal idle speed. And it takes it a minute to recover, but now it's down to like, what, 650? I'm in neutral. And if I put it in gear, about 500, 550, very nice and normal. If I put it back in neutral, it settles in here around 600 or so, 650-ish. I think the dash tach reads a little bit low compared to the scan tool. But what I did right now, what you saw, the difference between 600 and 1100, is I unplugged my scan tool. There is apparently a mode in the ECM in these older cars that certain scan tools will excite, that the ECM, when it's signaled, boosts the idle speed and boosts the ignition timing by something like 8 or 10 degrees, and so then it seems like it goes into a misfire because there's too much ignition timing and it's idling way too fast. So now the tool's unplugged, and you can see we're kind of settled in here at about 600, and if I go out here and we go to the back, you can kind of listen to the exhaust note. Perfectly normal as far as I can tell. Sounds just like it ought to sound. Would have never guessed that my scan tool would make that much difference. I just plugged the tool back in, and it's starting to pick up the speed again. It takes it a minute, and I'm not really supposed to start with the scan tool with the engine off, plugging it in, so. But it's already up to 900 and climbing. 925, So if any of you are working on older GM cars with a scan tool, it's actually in the service manual. It's just kind of obscure, but they caution you that scan tools can make this happen. And you can see it's starting to settle right back down again, back to about 600 or so, and it takes it a little bit of time. It kind of ramps it off, but very interesting finding. And so now when I have it out on the road and been driving it, it's driving very well and it runs very well, and I'm quite happy with that.